All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Gratitude. My name is Christian, and this is the first edition of the Let's Talk Wrestling portion of Let's Talk Gratitude, where on Mondays I review Friday Night Smackdown, and on Tuesdays I review Monday Night Raw. So let's just jump right into last Friday's edition of Friday Night Smackdown. Show started with a video package of The Rock's return on Monday Night Raw, calling out Roman Reigns and asking the crowd should The Rock be sitting at the head of the table. After the video package, we get Roman Reigns arriving with the rest of the Bloodline, Paul Heyman, Solo Sikoa, and Jimmy Uso to the SmackDown arena. Caleb Braxton walks in and asks Roman what he thought of The Rock's promo, and Roman Reigns just laughs off The Rock and walks away. So there's your opening little segment. That brings us to the first match of the night, the finals of the United States number one contender tournament. Kevin Owens versus Santos Escobar. Santos walks down with Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza at his side. Logan Paul shows up to join commentary on the show. But before the match, Humberto and Angel get ran off by the LWO. They get sent to, they fight each other off to the back. So it is a one-on-one bout, which I really appreciate, so that there's no shenanigans in this finals for the tournament. It's a good, just one-on-one bout with no goofiness at the end. Overall thoughts on the match, really thought it was a really good opener. Set a good tone for the rest of the night. Story of the match was Santos Escobar going after Kevin Owens' broken arm or broken hand, and Logan Paul making fun of Kevin Owens the entire time on commentary. There were points during the match where Logan Paul was getting Logan Paul sucks chance by just sitting on commentary. So Kevin Owens though is so good at being a believable babyface and someone that you really want to root for. I think he does just a wonderful job of selling like he's getting the crap actually kicked out of him on his face, which just makes whoever's watching want to root for him even more. Real good stuff in the match, though. Had another Avalanche Fisherman hook suplex by Kevin to Santos Escobar. I love that Corey Graves is making a thing out of everybody's like continuing to try and give Kevin Owens a superplex, and Corey's just like, this is stupid. Stop doing it. You know what happens every time. Even giving Logan Paul advice like, watch that. Don't do it. So I like that little bit. That's like a recurring little theme that keeps happening. Finish of the match, Kevin Owens wins with a stunner. He is the number one contender now for Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble. Logan Paul gets on the mic after the match, runs down Kevin Owens, gets in the ring and gets punched right in the mouth for his trouble by Kevin. Stiff punch to the lower jaw, which was really nice. Love that Kevin just does what we all are thinking. Big takeaway, though, from this match that I wanted to talk about, and it's been something that I've noticed for a while with Santos Escobar. I love Santos Escobar's character, but to me, and just something that my eye has noticed, and I'm not a wrestler, so, I'm not a worker, I've never taken a bump, but just something I've noticed watching the shows for a while now, ever since Santos and Rey Mysterio had that last United States tournament match a while ago, something seemed just a half step off with Santos in the ring. And the best way I can describe this in my mind is, so I used to play sports when I was in high school. I played soccer and I played basketball. I was better at soccer than I was basketball. Soccer just came naturally to me. I played it as a younger child in elementary school and preschool. So a lot of soccer was just me going off instinct and reacting to the game. There wasn't a lot of thought. I mean, there was some thought put into it, but it wasn't just me overthinking the game. Whereas basketball, I started later, so I needed to learn the game, learn how to play the game more. And during the games, I was just thinking too much, and I really struggled. And asked my coach, why I was struggling, and he simply said, "Well, it's because you're overthinking the game during the games. You're thinking about every dribble you're doing. You're thinking about where the ball needs to be passed to next. You're thinking about what play needs to be run next, and you're not just playing the game. You're not just reacting and playing off instinct. You haven't built instincts for the game yet." And I think Santos has been doing this a while, so he obviously has instincts for wrestling. But I think what I've just seen over the last, I don't know, couple of months has been Santos kind of overthinking what's going on in the ring. And there was a couple moments in this match where you saw it. There was a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker that Santos gave to Kevin where he didn't get the knee under Kevin, and Kevin just kind of slid off his thighs, off Santos's thigh. There was a couple of spots on the top turnbuckle when they were fighting in the corner that looked awkward. And then the last one was the stunner that Kevin gave him. Like, Kevin went down, dropped him on his shoulder, dropped Santos's head on his shoulder, and then Santos stood there for a half second and then fell back. So it was just kind of little small things I noticed that were just a half step off. And again, I love Santos Escobar. I've loved his character since NXT, and I thought his work in NXT was really, really good. It was flying off instinct, and there was nothing weird about it or anything. It's just the last couple months, I think Santos has just, I don't know, been a step off. So I hope that gets ironed out, because I want Santos to really succeed and do some big things. I think Santos has been a great, when he came into the company, was a great replacement for when Andrade almost left. So yeah, that was the opener. Really good opener. Next, we got a video package for Randy Orton, hyping up the triple threat main event on SmackDown. Afterwards, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits came down for a promo. I'm so happy that we are finally doing away with trying to force these guys to be heels. They are for sure baby faces. Nobody wants to boo Bobby Lashley, even though I think Bobby Lashley, of the three of them, makes the best heel, especially when he was in the Hurt Business. But Montez and Angelo Dawkins, I don't think really have the personalities for us to, unless they do some real dirty stuff. I don't think they got the personalities where the fans want to hate them. So yeah, I'm glad that they were just pushing them as baby faces. Bobby declares for the Royal Rumble. The Street Profits declare they're going to win the tag titles. They call out the Judgment Day. I don't think that the Profits are going to win the tag titles, but at some point I hope they do. Another thing I noticed with this trio is I'm not sure that I'm entirely sold on the chemistry between Bobby and the Profits. I think in theory this trio should work, right? It's Bobby Lashley, it's the Street Profits. All three of them are great. So in theory they should all be great together. Except I don't know that, we talked a little about personalities. I don't know that the personalities between the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley quite are meshing together well yet. The Profits are obviously fun-loving, bubbly personality guys, and then you've got Bobby Lashley, who's the straightforward, no-nonsense, punch you in the mouth and get paid for it kind of guy, which in theory, again, should play off each other pretty well, but it just hasn't. The Street Profits, and maybe this is the booking or the direction that they're getting, I don't know, but the Street Profits have felt very muted and are trying to be angry, serious guys, when really they should just be the fun-loving, bubbly guys that we all love them for. But that's what I've noticed. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe they'll figure something out. Interruption to the promo, though. We get a fun return tonight. Karrion Kross Scarlett both walk out on the top of the ramp, and seconds later, out behind them walks Paul Ellering. And if you've been watching WWE programming for a while, if you remember back in the black and gold NXT days, Paul Ellering was the manager for the returning Authors of Pain, who slid in the ring behind Bobby and the Profits and started to beat them down. They knocked down Bobby out of the ring, and the AOP was beaten up on the Profits inside the ring. Karrion Kross walks down the ramp, gives Bobby a stiff elbow, and then throws Bobby into the ring steps. The Authors of Pain get the Profits up for a Super Collider. That's the power bomb where they like run the backs of their opponents into each other and then hit the power bomb. I personally think that they should probably stick to the last chapter for a more devastating move. I just don't think that the Super Collider gets enough oomph on that back bump where they like collide into each other for it to look devastating. It kind of looks more awkward than anything. So, but I'm super happy that AOP's back. I was a big fan of them when they were around, even when they were tagging with Seth for the little bit. But definitely in NXT, they were really enjoyable to watch. Karrion Kross looks incredible, looks jacked. Has a new finisher too. So Bobby came back in the ring, and Karrion gave him this new finish, which is like a pub handle up to the power slam position, and then while he's on his shoulder, like then gives him like this variant of an F5, which looked really cool. So happy he has a new finish. I like the cross jacket. I think he needed something else. The pump handle spot part of it could go away. You could just get him up on the power slam and then do the F5. But Karrion looks great. One other thing that this segment, something that stuck out to me, the tag division, specifically on SmackDown, looks incredibly healthy right now. I mean, you've got Humberto and Angel that are back. You've got the LWO. You've got now Authors of Pain, the Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, who had a match later with Butch and a mystery partner, which we'll get to later. But a very healthy tag division, and it's been fun to watch Triple H kind of revitalize each division. Right, it started with the men's main event division, and then it went to the women's main event division, and then the mid card division, right? The Intercontinental and the United States divisions that he revitalized, and now he's kind of in the last couple of months, and you've seen this in certain segments. There was one segment on Raw where they like literally had a showcase for all of their tag teams and said, "Hey, look at all the cool tag teams we have." But it's been cool to watch Triple H like slowly revitalize the tag division, and I'm excited for what's ahead for this tag division. Hopefully they'll split up those tag titles so that we'll get more from each division on each show. Next we had AJ Styles, my favorite wrestler. We had a video package for him. Afterwards, we had the WWE Women's Championship match between the champion Io Sky and Mi Chen, who entered with the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Another tag team on the show. This match was really good, but it was good. I'll say, I won't say really good. It was good. A bit too fast paced for me. There wasn't like a lot of breathing room between each thing. They did a lot of stuff, and so there was a lot of good highlights from this match. Like Io Sky flying around the ring is just a beauty to behold. There's no one who does springboards or the flip moves like Io Sky. The way she gets on top of the ropes reminds me a lot of the way like Rob Van Dam, in terms of like how the unique style she gets on the ropes. Reminds me a lot of Rob Van Dam. like when she does the springboard drop kick, she puts her foot on the bottom of the rope and then like uses it to jump up. I really like that. It stands out. Next, we had the Mi Chen did an avalanche styles clash, which looked insane. Off the second rope to Io. Get to two because Io grabs the rope. Thankfully, she didn't kick out of it. She just grabbed the ropes. Crazy spot. Then afterwards, Mi Chen took an ugly dive. I swear I thought she broke a rib. The way she landed looked real nasty. But they're pros, so she got up fine. Io then hit a meteor against the barricade on Mi Chen, got her in the ring, hit the moonsault for the win, retaining the WWE Women's Championship. So again, good match. Was really fast. I'm not sure if that was because of time constraints or just the way they designed the match. But it was a lot. One thing that I wanted to mention. So Io for me is kind of the opposite situation with Santos, where I love her work. I love watching her in the ring, but I'm not really sure I'm connecting with her character as much. So like she's portrayed as a heel. She's part of Damage Control, heel faction. They're kind of like the Mean Girls ish, right? But Io during matches like never really does anything heelish. She doesn't cheat. She doesn't like try and egg on the crowd or anything. It's more like we're supposed to hate her because she's really confident that she's really good, but she should be really confident because she is really good. So that just makes us want to like her more. So I'm not sure what we're supposed to not like about her character. So I would like to see a bit more of the just kind of nasty side of Io come out in matches, so that because I don't think it does Mi Chen any favors when the crowd's kind of confused on, well, are we supposed to not like Io, but she's really cool and she does all this cool stuff. Not that I want her to stop the cool stuff, but just throw in some cheating stuff, rake the eyes, something like that, choke her out. But yeah, so there's that match. Next we had a Paul Heyman interview. Paul Heyman called out The Rock for calling out Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman says that The Rock is trying to maintain relevancy by calling out Roman Reigns. Had probably the quote of the night. Went, there's two ways to go viral these days: date Taylor Swift and call out Roman Reigns. I don't know what Travis Kelce did to deserve that stray by Paul Heyman, but good line. Paul also mentions Cena, Brock, Cody, and CM Punk as people who, the minute they returned, called out Roman Reigns. The CM Punk thing's pretty interesting. This is his first words kind of to CM Punk on screen. Says welcome back. Mentions the line that CM Punk said where he was the OG Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman responds, says CM Punk says he's the OG Paul Heyman guy, which he is, till I upgraded from best friend to advocate, and then upgraded from advocate to wise man. So it seems definite that at some point down the road, we're going to get a CM Punk Roman Paul Heyman thing, which is super exciting. Those promos are going to be nuts. Just the interactions between CM Punk and Paul Heyman would kind of remind me of when Brock was going after Roman and Paul Heyman was on Roman's side, and Brock just kept staring down Paul and terrifying him. So looking forward to when that happens later down the line. Next, we get to probably my favorite part of the night. Tag match between Pretty Deadly versus Butch and a mystery partner. And drum roll for the mystery partner, Tyler Bate, finally debuting on main roster on SmackDown. Been waiting for this guy to come up to main roster since NXT UK fell apart. Since he's been on NXT, I've been wanting him on main roster. I wished for a long time that Trent Seven and Tyler Bate would be on SmackDown or Raw together. Trent Seven's gone now, though, so we get Butch and Tyler Bate, which I'm happy about. And everything Tyler Bate did tonight worked for me. I was super happy that he was there. Everything he did was fun. He was a lightning bolt, a ball of energy, something different on the show. The when he slaps like a part of his body and goads his opponent into like going after that part and then just toys with that opponent. It's something different. I really enjoyed it. There's a funny part where he had I think it was Kit Wilson in a headlock, and Kit tried to like elbow Tyler in the back, and Tyler grabbed his own foot and just like smacked Kit in the face with it. I love that kind of stuff. Tyler's just got a unique style of work that I really enjoy. And initially, the crowd wasn't like super maybe interested in Tyler Bate, but boy, did Tyler Bate get them interested towards the end. By the end of the match, I'm excited for Tyler Bate to be on SmackDown, especially if him and Butch are going to be tag partners going forward. That's super exciting because eventually that means Butch might turn heel, and we get another series of matches between these two. That prospect excites me greatly. I do want to give mad props to Pretty Deadly. Everyone that they're in a match with comes out of that match looking like $1 million. These two guys, Kit Wilson, Elton Prince, are awesome. And I think at some point it's only inevitable that they're going to win tag titles. But tonight they get the L. Bate and Butch win by hitting. Bate hits Bop and Bang on Elton Prince, knocking him out of the ring. And then Butch and Bate give a double Tyler driver to Kit Wilson. Bate gets the pin on his debut, and that's the match. Favorite part of the night for me. Glad Bate's on the show. Next, had a video package for LA Knight. Yeah. Again, hyping up the main event, which is next. But before the main event, there were some backstage segments. Let's look at those real quick. Just before the Bobby and Street Profits promo, we had Cameron Grimes poking fun at Logan Paul in the back. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory come to try and comfort him. Grayson Waller pushes Cameron Grimes, which sets up a match for this Friday on SmackDown. Glad Cameron Grimes is back on the show. I like Cameron Grimes a lot, and I think he's got the potential to be another Daniel Bryan type babyface if played right. So happy for Cameron. Looking forward to that match. Next, we had Damage Control celebrating Io's win in the back, and then that celebration gets spoiled by Bianca Belair, who declares for the Rumble, says she's going to win the Rumble and challenge for the take that title off of Io. Io says that Bayley needs to take care of this Bianca problem. More teasing for Bayley getting shut out of the of Damage Control. And I'll tell you, the real snake in Damage Control isn't Asuka, isn't Kyrie, isn't Io, right? Because Asuka and Kyrie, you can understand why they probably wouldn't like Bayley, right? Asuka's got past beef with Bayley. Kyrie got taken out by Bayley a long time ago. And Io, you could imagine just kind of going along for the ride. The real snake in all this is Dakota Kai, who knows what's going on for sure, sees what's coming down the pike, and is just letting it happen to Bayley. So whenever that ends up happening, Dakota Kai will be the real snake in that faction. Backstage segment just before the main event, Ashante Adonis meets with Nick Aldis in his office. Ashante asks for an opportunity. Feels like he's been forgotten. Feels like he's kind of lost his way. And Nick Aldis says, all right, I'll give you an opportunity. What's interesting is Nick Aldis says specifically that I've got some ideas that you might be interested in. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with Ashante. Nick Aldis has been a breath of fresh air as a general manager on these shows. I love his no-nonsense, kind of just let's get the job done and do what we need to do stuff. No one's going to get one over on me kind of style of GMing. So Really like Nick Aldis. Next, we have the main event. Randy Orton versus my favorite wrestler, AJ Styles, versus LA Knight. Yeah. Triple threat for a number one contenders match for Roman Reigns' Universal title. Nick Aldis is sitting ringside for this match. Big takeaway first off, LA Knight is in this match with two former world champions. AJ's won it, I think, 3 times. Randy's won it somewhere in the teens. And what's interesting is LA Knight does not feel out of place at all amongst these two. He feels like he belongs in this main event with these two former champions. And so, again, really impressive how LA Knight has kind of gone from zero to hero in a year. Doesn't feel out of place. Feels like it's an inevitability that he's going to get not just a title, but specifically a world title at some point down the line. This match, for me, was an example of fast-paced done really well, where I thought the Io Michin match was a bit too fast. I thought this one was similarly fast-paced, but worked for me, specifically because they let certain spots in the match just breathe, and people sold their injuries. Like, there was a specific spot where all 3 of them end up on the outside by the announcer's table. LA Knight starts bouncing both of their heads off the announce table. Then Randy Orton starts doing the backdrop things onto the announce table to both LA Knight and AJ. And then AJ flips out and gives Randy Orton a backdrop onto the announce table. And right after that, like they sell it for a bit and let it breathe before they go right back into the mat, into the ring and start doing a bunch of other stuff. So again, I fast paced this match, fast paced, done well for me. Big spots. LA Knight starts bleeding after a 450 springboard 450 by AJ Styles. It looked like LA Knight kind of got clipped just above the brow by AJ's elbow, probably. Started bleeding. I appreciated that they didn't do the black and white screen during the show. I know their YouTube clip of the match did black and white it, but I'm happy during the live stream or during the live feed they didn't black and white the screen. I was really appreciative of that. Just let it play out. AJ Styles. So I'm loving this mean and jacked version of AJ. I think it's the best version of AJ since he held a world title. Everything he does looks like it actually hurts now. Like, it looks like he's really laying it in. AJ's just a pro's pro. So, love that he's in the best shape of his life. Looks great. Finish of the match. LA Knight hit Randy Orton with the BFT. AJ Styles stopped the ref from counting 3. Like, held his arm to stop the count. Later, AJ went for a phenomenal forearm on Randy Orton. Got hit with the RKO for his troubles. Ref counts 1, 2, and gets pulled out of the ring by LA Knight. And afterwards, Roman Reigns and the Bloodline come down the ramp to spoil the fun, spoil the match, and start beating all 3 of them up. We get a power bomb by Roman Reigns to AJ. We get a spear by Roman Reigns to LA Knight. And then we get a spear and Samoan Spike combo to Randy Orton. And while Roman Reigns is in the ring celebrating, thinking that, I'm gonna have a day off now because there's no winner. Nick Aldis walks up to Paul Heyman, and I like the little touch that Paul Heyman does when Nick Aldis tries to grab him by the arm to talk to him. Paul Heyman just turns around and goes, "Don't be touching me." I love the annoyed and grouchy Paul Heyman touch that he always gives. But Nick Aldis talks to Paul Heyman, not in a microphone, but just so that the audience at home, the cameras pick it up, the camera mics pick it up. Nick Aldis tells Paul Heyman, tell Roman Reigns congratulations, because he's just earned himself a fatal 4-way match for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble. So there you go. You've got your main event for the Royal Rumble set now. It'll be Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus my favorite wrestler, AJ Styles, versus LA Knight. Yeah, for that Universal title. And then cameras are off. And that's the show. Man, I'm really excited for that match at the Royal Rumble. It's going to be really interesting. I don't think Roman's losing that title at the Royal Rumble. I think we're bound for Cody Roman at Mania. Somehow, some way. We have so many options for Mania. It's really an embarrassment of riches that WWE has. Overall, though, thought the show was really fun. Loved the pacing of the show. All the matches were good. I love that we get 4 or 5 matches that have a lot of time for them to do some interesting stuff and tell some stories. So thought this was a really good show. And yeah, if you stuck around for this entire episode, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy this new content that I'm doing with pro wrestling. If you do, support the channel by liking the video. Comment what you enjoyed on the show, what you're looking forward to at the Royal Rumble. And most importantly, subscribe. Help this channel grow. I want to see where this goes, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, so if you stuck around, thanks, and I will see you tomorrow for the Monday Night Raw review. Bye, guys.